Do you know this man? Oh, what am I saying? Of course you do. This is Lord Vader. He is the Emperor's top enforcer, the Empire's acting face of power, striking intense fear into those who dare oppose him. He is also a broken, homicidal, raging maniac who won't hesitate to murder you in cold blood should you make the slightest mistake. And that's what this video is here to do. To make sure that come your days of active service within the Empire, should you find yourself working alongside the Emperor's enforcer, then you will know exactly what to do. So listen closely, troopers, TIE pilots and naval officers. Welcome back to the Imperial Academy, and today we are going to be talking about Darth Vader. So, the first question we have to ask here is, who is Darth Vader? Yeah, you see, that's the thing. Pretty much everyone within the Empire knows next to nothing about this mysterious man. Where did he come from? Nope. Who is he? Nuh-uh. Why does he wear that imposing suit? Yeah, no chance. During the Empire's earlier days, the Emperor himself took the liberty of unveiling and introducing Lord Vader to the majority of the Imperial officer corps, proclaiming that the officers should now also be following the orders of what at first looked like a droid, but little did we know, this was no droid. After this first introduction, the Empire seemingly continued its expansion across the galactic sectors as normal, but as more progress was made, Vader's more dangerous tendencies, shall we say, would often come about as a result of belligerent behaviour from officers and commanders, failure to complete assignments given by Vader, showing the slightest bit of hostility towards Vader, or hell, even asking questions is enough to get you killed. So, it's that easy, you may ask. Just don't do any of what I just said and you'll be fine. Well, sorry to say that when it comes to Vader, it's best not to jump to conclusions. So what exactly are the steps to surviving Lord Vader? Well, for a start, it's best to view Vader not as an imposing, faceless husk, as there is definitely a human being under that helmet, but instead an intelligent and powerful individual, whom, should you offer respect, he will give it back. The goal here is to cooperate with him, not see him as a subordinate, which is a mistake too many officers make. It is important to understand that Vader can pretty much cut you down with ease should he wish to do so. So speaking of such, let's analyse Lord Vader, after which we will look at ways to prevent your death at the hands of the Sith Lord, and even ways to get on his good side. Not that he really has one. Upon closer inspection of Darth Vader, the aspect that makes him stick out like a sore thumb in a crowd and gives him that imposing, lifeless demeanour is obviously his armour. Made of obsidian, this armour and other models like it are designed to offer life support for life-threatening injuries sustained to the wearer. Upon simple inspection of Vader's suit, it appears to be very basic when compared to what other options are available. The tech on display is very unimpressive, if not extremely utilitarian, seemingly lacking any options for comfort or ease from injuries, the suit being extremely crude overall, both in design and life support. From digging around the Imperial archives, I have found that Vader's injuries are a series of very gruesome third-degree burns. These burns are spread all over of what remains of Vader's charred body, and yes, that also means the inside, meaning that Vader's lungs are unable to intake oxygen on their own. This is the main feature of the suit, essentially acting as a pressurized breathing apparatus to allow Vader to receive oxygen to keep on living. The suit also contains a multitude of different instruments to facilitate Vader's other bodily functions, which will fail if any part of Vader's suit fails. These of course being nutrient processing, breathing as mentioned before, skin and burn protection, external prosthesis control, medicine administration, and so much more, which I really don't need to explain. Just note that it keeps Vader alive. Now, the important thing to keep in mind with Vader is to consider his perspective. Vader probably lives every day in constant terrible pain. If you were in his position, you would be very irritable too. Does this mean that he deserves your sympathy? Most certainly not. Remember what I said, the goal is to cooperate. He's not your friend. Before we move on with that though, what tactical advantages does this armour provide Vader? Well, for a start, it has 10 protective layers made of highly durable alloys to protect him from impacts, explosions and blaster bolts. Another would be the advantage of the suit's respirator, which allows Vader to survive in some of the most dangerous environments in the galaxy, the vacuum of space being a good example. Speaking of space, Vader's boots contain magnetic clamps which, when in use, allow him to remain fixed to any metal surface, provided that gravity isn't a factor at play, and of course the helmet's built-in HUD and display means he can operate in many different conditions, having certain information regarding his condition, environmental conditions, and the conditions of others pretty much on the go, making him extremely formidable to go against, especially if you're a rebel. So, a fundamental aspect to cooperating with Vader and ensuring that you don't get yourself killed is understanding what kind of person Vader is. Well, that question is easy to answer. He's murderous, cold, mostly unfeeling, very uncaring, cruel, harsh. You know what? Vader has no redeeming qualities whatsoever, at least not any that are visually apparent. So from that, you know that working for Vader is already a complex and stressful endeavour. So, the trick to staying alive is extremely simple. Do what Vader tells you. That's it, for the most part. Vader is a higher rank than most of you watching this video, and if he commands you to do something then you do it, simple as that. Except, what about when things go wrong? What if the assignment Vader has set you is more than you can handle? What if it possibly gets you killed? These concerns are completely valid, and the good news I can offer you regarding that is that Vader only gives the most dire missions and assignments to his most senior and experienced officers, the kind of assignments that get you killed for failure. Which, come to think of it, isn't any better for myself, but what that means for yourself is that Vader is usually far more lenient and willing to give second chances to lower ranking officers who may fail at these tasks assigned to them, whatever that may be. That does not mean you should kick your feet up, most certainly not, no. Any assignment given by Vader should be followed to the letter. Examples of these can range from repairing a starfighter, assisting with a full-scale assault in battle, capturing assigned targets, artifact retrieval, information gathering, and assassinating someone, even if that is someone you know very well. Although this does not mean that everything Vader orders is necessarily correct. I suppose it would be a good time to tell you now that despite what I just said, Vader's orders can sometimes have adverse effects on not just yourself, but others as well. Remember, Vader is a higher rank than you, but he is not the one who rules the Empire. The Emperor does, and your allegiance should always lie with him. So let's finish off this video with looking into earning the respect of Vader. And to do that again is quite simple. Vader respects officers or any Imperial personnel whom show themselves to be competent and capable at performing the many assignments given to them. So this could mean performing well in a battle by earning the respect of your infantry. Officers who know their place and follow the orders of higher ranking officials such as Vader and the Emperor. Those who serve as an example to others of what the Empire stands for. Those who follow specifically Vader's orders without question. And those who of course complete those orders successfully. But do be warned, even we have no clue of what makes Vader tick, and it's probably better if that question remains unanswered. The fair majority of these and many more are great ways to stall or possibly prevent your death at the hands of Vader. Because what matters in the end is that if Vader is satisfied with your performance, then that could lead to a promotion within the ranks of the Empire, and that means that you are respected by Vader and possibly even revered by the lower ranks, in which it will most likely be your duty to show them their responsibilities when it comes to working with the Sith Lord. But with that, I think you now get the idea of what working with Lord Vader is like, and how you as an officer, stormtrooper or pilot should act in the presence of the Emperor's top enforcer. And with that, thank you very much for watching, hope you had a happy new year, long live the Empire and may the Force be with you.